Hey, what's going on, everybody? I've got to welcome you to this special edition, this live stream, the Miami Hurricanes and the UAB Blazers 2020 real rosters. If you guys have seen the sneak peeks, you guys know what's coming up next, but I'm going to do a full game here. We're going 7-minute quarters. Game's just loading right now, so you haven't missed anything. Just want to give a huge shout out to Buddy, John. Glad you guys are always here. Jake's here as well. And Ryan, I'm excited that you're excited. Everybody that's just jumping on, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys like this. And we're getting ready to get this thing going. Brian, what's going on? Glad you're here as well. Getting a great look at the squad here. And I hope you guys are excited about everybody here. Maybe drop in the comments, who are you most excited about seeing on Thursday night? There's a lot of interesting players to watch in my mind. I'm very excited to see what's actually going to happen. We've been talking all offseason about who's going to do what. It's time for them to show out and see how things go. Life Adventures, glad you subscribed. Thank you for doing that. Definitely appreciate you. We are on a road to 20,000. We hit that 10,000 mark, and we got to get that 20. I just want to keep this thing going. Aviator Mike is here. Glad you're here as well. Mike, just to maybe anybody else that's new, I'll let you know what's going on. If you haven't seen these simulations, let me do this real quick. And we are going to watch this. For settings purposes, I have to do the opening kickoff here. But if you guys haven't seen this, basically it's the real rosters. The 2020 rosters on this HD game here. And I've been doing all off season, I've been doing first quarter simulations. Many of you have been wanting the full game. I've been saving it for the season because this is what I wanted to do. And the key for me, and the reason why I wanted to do it like this, is because I wanted to see the real rosters, the real depth chart, who's opted out, take those guys out if guys are injured or suspended and things like that. So that was kind of my thinking. And also I set the depth charts based on the current depth charts. We need to get this chat going on the screen here. Give me 1 second here. You guys can keep watching. Oh, that could have been an interception from the jump. There's a look at their starting linemen. Hopefully we can get this chat thing going. If not, I'll just make it full screen. You guys can still see the chat on the side. But I like seeing that chat during the stream there, and I think you guys do too, especially for the people that watch it back. Curious to see your comments. I can still read everything. Hopefully audio is working well. Had some issues with that before. There we go. There's the chat. That's what I was talking about. It just took a little bit. We got this thing going. Okay, I'm excited. I was a little hesitant about how everything was going to work here. Ryan, yeah, I think that's the word, that they're going to wear orange. That's why I want to do it here. Kyle, what's going on? I'm glad you like this. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the entire game as well. So let's talk about what Miami is going to see tomorrow night. You saw right there, number 4 for UAB, Spencer Brown. Pretty good running back. I was impressed with him last week watching him against Central Arkansas. He's got over 3,000 yards in his career. I think it's going to be a tough test. I was asking guys kind of all week, really. I asked Zach McLeod what's going to be like to face him. I asked Manny Diaz as well, just facing this rushing attack. A challenging rushing attack that UAB has. And the key is, with tackling in that opening game is always a big deal. So they're going to play action. But Spencer Brown is certainly, they've got 3 running backs, but Spencer Brown's the best one. And this is another target they're going to have to keep in check as well. Number 6. So early on, you're already seeing UAB's top players. They're guys I think that are pretty good players. Number 4, the running back Spencer Brown. Then Austin Watkins Jr. right here. A wide receiver, 6'3", had over 1,000 yards last year, so you got to give him credit for that. Like I said, good size. Averaged like 19 yards a catch, which to me says he's a guy that can get downfield a little bit. He had 7 catches in the first game. Only about 10 yards a catch. But I think they'll be willing to stretch it out a little bit more. Miami's defense here. I think to me the biggest thing, there's a few big things, but maybe out of fall camp, seeing Bradley Jennings Jr., number 44, earn that starting spot. That's a big hit right there. That's Sam Brooks. So they're mixing in some linebackers here. I made sure to get Bradley Jennings Jr., though, that start, so hopefully everything's checked out there. Same way with the other guys. It's a good look at the squad right there. B-Buddy, what's going on? Glad you're here. Shout out to you. UAB's on the move here. There we go. That's a great play. Another run by Spencer Brown. Number 3, Gilbert Frierson. I know many of you are excited about Gilbert this year. Kind of taking over on that striker role. Him and Keontra Smith maybe going to split it. But because Gilbert's played more, you definitely feel like he's got the advantage going into it. Matthew, what's going on? Shout out to you. Even though you're an Auburn fan. I had a chance to visit the Auburn campus a few years ago and had a great time there. Grew up a big Bo Jackson fan, so I had to see that statue out there. Okay, they got to get that tackle. There we go. You would like 3rd and 2 here. And Matthew, I didn't skip out on doing the Auburn simulation. Just there were so many teams to get to. 3rd and 2 here. Defensive line has to come up big. That's tough. A little disappointing here. Hey, but real quick, I want to make sure I tell everybody, since you guys are here, kind of things coming up. I want to do a live stream pregame show tomorrow. In the afternoon, I'll set the time tomorrow. And then post-game, I'll do an instant reaction for about 30 minutes. It's going to be a late night. But I'm going to go ahead and knock that out for you guys as well. And we'll have plenty of more pregame articles and content on the site here. So that's tough. There's Corey Couch. Jay Carter, what's going on? This is the ITU game. That's what this is. Nah, this is a mod on Madden, man. I put in this work and created these teams here. Especially UAB. Went through the whole uniform, designing them. It's like what I do with the high school ones, if you guys haven't seen those. And since you guys are here, I know you're maybe curious about that. But there's a few projects I'm working on the high school ones that I'm very excited about as well. And hopefully you guys like this full game. Okay, 3rd and 4. Let's see how this goes here. Oh, that's a good breakup. That's good there. So Gervin Hall, I think it was Gervin Hall. Yeah, that's Gervin. Very excited to see how he does this year. If he's going to take that jump. Showed splashes last year. So this is good. I know it was a long drive for UAB, but for Miami to be able to get that stop here on 3rd down. Man, look at that. That took out the whole first quarter. That's all right, though. A lot can happen here. Jay Carter, I appreciate it, man. And honestly, like, glad you're a fan, you know? Like, I'm glad there's people that want to see this stuff because I've enjoyed doing it for you guys. Okay, so offense is going to come out here. One thing that kind of caught my eye with the depth chart is kick returner. Mark Pope is the lead kick returner. And I think, I think that's a little bit surprising. There's different guys you could put in there. I think Jalen Knighton would be a good option. But certainly I think it's great just to get more opportunities for Mark to have the ball in his hands. And he's also the lead punt returner heading into the game. So we'll see how he does. What in the world? Okay, they got to review that. What are we doing? Oh, and the dance. No, the ball's they got to review that. There's no way that counts, right, guys? I mean, let's see here. Oh no. No, I think it would. Oh, we'll see here. Man, that's crazy. That is. Man, I might have to I might have to pick up the controller for the second half here. We cannot let it go like this. There's Jalen right there, number 4. You guys got to be excited about Jalen Knighton for sure. I know there's a lot of hype around him. A lot of people are excited.
And this is one of those bang plays, Charles. Did the knee hit first or did the ball go?
Definitely.
This is where you need that 20/20 eyesight, don't you, Brandon? You've got to see which one happened first. If the knee hit the ground, then they will keep possession.
Yeah, Daryl, I hope not, especially when it's like that's his first return. Like, it can't happen like that. Man, even on the games, the referees are on Miami, right, guys? I know that's what you were thinking. All right, there we go. The crowd's all into it. I like it. So here we go. So definitely the hype surrounding Jalen Knighton. I understand it. I know that maybe it feels like too much, but I definitely think he's someone to be excited about. And there he is. He gets the first carry. That's interesting. I actually definitely had Cam Harris there on the depth chart, but they went ahead and gave Jalen that first carry of the game. So 4 wide receivers, I think you will see that. That was a quick first quarter from Miami, only getting 1 offensive play in. But this is going pretty well. Once again, shout out to everybody that's jumping on. If this is new to you, maybe you like it, maybe you like to see some changes, but I'd like to do this because it's not only just to watch it, but just a way to talk about the game even more. So talking about Miami's offense, obviously De'Aaron King, definitely reasons to be excited about him. And the one thing that stands out to me about De'Aaron, that's a tough play there, the Cam Harris. But my thing about De'Aaron, obviously he's proven himself and done his thing and things like that. And in my mind, even if he has an off game, because it's not all going to be great, but in my mind I'm thinking, I think he's going to be pretty solid, and you won't see that crazy drop-off game, if that makes sense, where it really puts the team in a bad spot. Basically, I think his minimum production or output is still going to be good enough essentially every game. So, if that makes sense. But anyways, obviously the reasons to be excited about him are his dynamic playmaking abilities and his leadership abilities. He's been in games. And I'm going to have an article on the site there on InsideTheU tomorrow about De'Aaron. But I asked offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley about his freedom, the freedom that Derek will be given. So there's Larry Hodges. That's obviously an error on my part. He wears number 81. I know you guys, anyone that's a diehard fan, you know he wears 81. Hopefully there's not some other number changes. I was doing a couple things. I forgot to go back and switch it. But I'll get it right for next week. There we go. I like that run by De'Eric. And I think that's what, willing to take a hit, but then goes ahead and slides on the same play. But Coach Lashley did say that, he'll have some freedom to, do some things. And I think that we'll see how things go tomorrow. If there's things that we notice at the line, audibles, things like that. And maybe they'll talk about it after the game, about how that part went. But certainly, even though it is De'Eric's first game at Miami, they certainly have a lot of trust in him. That's a great play right there. Brevin Jordan, nice play. I think Brevin is different. Is a reason why to be really excited about the offense and maybe some things that De'Eric can do in terms of the production, because they got a guy like Brevin who's such a matchup advantage for Miami. And based on everything that what they've said in fall camp, they definitely want to get Will Mallory involved more than he has been the last 2 years. Okay, here we go, inside the 20. So there we go. So that's one thing, too, looking at the Miami's offensive line. They have 2 new starters on the left side, John Campbell at left tackle, left guard Usman Traore. Those guys win the battles in fall camp. And we'll see how they do. I find it interesting they'll both be on the same side. But obviously, if anyone struggles, Zion Nelson, Ja'Kai Clark, Cleveland Reed even, those guys will be ready to go. Anthony, what's going on? I'm not sure of that yet, but you can check the site. We'll have stuff on recruits. Who's actually going to be there? It's definitely different because with not being able to have official visits and things like that. 3rd and 8 here. Oh, incomplete pass. First incomplete pass of the drive. Greg, I think as far as predictions for tomorrow night, I think Miami's going to be, maybe it'll be a little tight early. There's things that UAB can do, particularly in the running game. If they're able to get Tyler Johnson, the quarterback, involved and comfortable, finding his wideouts, I think the offense can make plays a little bit. I do expect Miami to go ahead and pull ahead. I think De'Eric will go ahead and have one of those games, pretty solid opener, what you're looking for. I expect Miami to win. I think many of you do. And it's not that you're not giving credit or respect to UAB, especially with what they did last year, especially with what Miami did last year. I just think that with what De'Eric is going to bring to the team, it's going to really give them a chance to be really productive on offense. I think the line is 14 points. I think it is the line. As far as a prediction, I would say Miami would win by more than that. Okay, Rico. Yep, that's what it is. And yeah, I did the sim. I did the full season. You guys saw me play out the Dynasty on NCAA 14 and actually played it on the PS3, but definitely enjoyed that. And this is just something different in terms of giving you guys a look. This game is flying by. I did the 7-minute quarters because I just felt like this game could get a little long if I did 8 or 10, but certainly things are flying by. Spencer Brown held in check.
And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one.
So kind of flipping back to the defense, is there somebody that you guys are really excited about seeing how they perform this year? I think everybody's excited about the defensive ends. You know, Quincy Roche, Jalen Phillips. I think he's my breakout player for the defense. I don't think that's really going out on a limb, but maybe you guys are excited to see what Jennings can do. Can he translate some of the things he did in fall practices into being a highly productive linebacker for Miami?
3-step drop, balls out of his hands, right to the tight end. Nice completion, just like they do it in practice.
Maybe you're looking forward to seeing Al Blades Jr. or maybe Nesta Jade Silvera, these guys taking a jump. Maybe you'd like to see Takori Couch kind of get in that starting lineup. So Garrett Prince, he's definitely a guy to watch for tomorrow night for UAB. A tight end for UAB. A tight end there, about 6'5", scored a couple touchdowns in their first game. One thing that stands out to me with how they used him was just kind of in crossing across the formations, where there was short yardage. There were different ways they were moving him around a little bit. So keep an eye on number 20 if you're looking for maybe an X factor to keep an eye on for UAB. Travis, what's going on? Shout out to you. Glad you're here, man. Yeah, it's just a game for sure. Greg, I hear you on the secondary. A lot of guys back. You know, Gervin Hall, Bubba Bolden, Amari Carter. You know, a combination of the corners. Corey Couch, Christian Williams with DJ Ivy, and Al Blades Jr. A lot of guys returning. Will those guys take a jump in their games? A guy like Bubba Bolden, I know many of you are excited about. Played a little bit last year, then he gets hurt, misses the season. You know, and he was slowed early before he was eligible, that kind of thing. And he's into his junior season, and he's looking for that breakout year as well. Travis, I hear you about the X factor, about the running back, Spencer Brown, but I think he's the main player for their offense, to be honest with you. I think he's beyond the X factor. I think he's a really good player. Maybe you're talking about Jermaine Brown, number 1, a 5'8" running back that they'd like to bring in. A little bit of change of pace. Lucius Stanley they also have as well. That's Rob Johnson, 7. Okay, Miami's got to get some stops here. That's Bubba Bolden. Nice tackle there. And that's one of the things with what Coach Banda talked about, and the defense, Coach Baker says as well, is their guys have to tackle. And if you're looking at Bubba, and again, he played sparingly, you know, or not played as much as Amari Carter and Gervin Hall, and they're planning on rotating them in. But when he did play, Bubba actually had a lower tackling rating, according to Pro Football Focus, than the other two. And it's not to say that that's the ultimate factor. It's just something to make sure that he's on point with, in terms of if you guys want to see him out there a lot, or maybe more than other people, he's going to have to be able to tackle. And, oh, that's a little short. A little short. But I think Bubba will be fine, and the reason why I like him is because of what he can do with his ball skills. Balls in the air, knocking down passes, intercepting passes. That's why I like to see him on the field. Travis, captain of the defense. I think that's an interesting one. I know Zach McLeod's been around for a long time. I think you immediately point to him. But I will say, I do think if Jalen Phillips is a highly productive player, I think he's the guy that could rise up and really take on that leadership role, even though this is his first season with the team.
First and 10 at the 40. To throw is King.
Oh, you got to get out of bounds. Okay, well, just keep going. Yeah, Rico, Myron Mitchell, that's number 5 who you're talking about. He's also their returner. I agree. He's someone that Miami's going to have to keep an eye on for sure.
Jonathan Coachman.
Especially if they want to go Watkins maybe a little bit more underneath. Although, like I said, he's got 19 yards a catch last year. But maybe they go underneath more with him. Stretch it deeper with Mitchell. But yeah, I think Jalen Phillips is a guy to watch for. Once again, it's about guys that play well. You know, in terms of we're talking about being a captain, being a leader. I just think Jalen's personality, he seems to be a guy to me that seems like he'd welcome that.
Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back.
Yeah, I will say, what was Sam, he's not starting, so there's that. And as far as Gervin goes, although he played a lot, to me, he strikes me as a guy that's a little bit quieter of a personality. But I do see a guy like Gervin, he does seem to be a little bit more confident at this point now going into this year compared to a year ago. And it makes sense. He produced, he started, whereas the year before, playing behind some guys. Okay, so we need Mark Pope to get a return here without fumbling the ball, without having that challenge.
Game here as the kick's away. This is taken at his 4. And he'll take it up past the 20.
It's good Miami's got the ball here. I feel like we've been watching UAB quite a bit. Time of possession has to be in their favor. As far as the predictions, I doubt it's going to be 3-3 at halftime tomorrow night.
They have a chance to break our tie here as we get a look at the first drive of quarter 3.
I definitely believe, I just don't think Miami's going to essentially get stuck in the mud with their offense like what we've seen in recent years. And while it might not be perfect, I just think with De'Aric's abilities, he's going to be able to make adjustments. Whether that means carrying the ball a little bit more or finding different guys on offense.
King now on first down.
Set up the blockers.
Complete. 7 yards there on the first down screenplay.
Nice screenplay to Jalen Knight, and I think he will be used in the passing game. That's one reason why I believe he's going to be the offensive breakout player this year. Assuming he gets his touches, I do expect him to get his touches because I think he's going to be a guy, regardless if he doesn't get all the touches early in the season, I think he's just going to make plays when he gets the ball. Getting a couple touches there. And real quick, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check out the series I have with Jalen Knight in Madden 21. I have Jalen playing in the yard. Last episode I released today. Playing in Miami Port with new uniforms, the Miami theme uniforms. So you got to check that out if you haven't seen that yet.
Now a first down carry for Harris. And this will be taken across midfield and into Green Bay.
That's a nice run by Cameron Harris.
Yards on the pickup.
You want to talk about maybe a captain of the offense kind of flipping it a little bit. Obviously, De'Aric at quarterback, he'll be their leader in that sense. I do think there's been a lot of praise given to Cameron Harris in his offseason, his work ethic, the way he's been helping teach the freshmen. There's Jalen right there. Nice run. Okay, drop in the comments. Who's going to score Miami's first touchdown of the season tomorrow night? Do you got Jalen breaking off a big run? Do you have De'Aric King, maybe to Brevin Jordan, something like that? Maybe Cameron Harris. Let me know who Brandon wants to go with Mark Pope. I like that one. That'd be great to see. I think Mark's a guy that definitely could use a lot of confidence early on in the season to really help him. I feel like Miami's going to score a touchdown here. Jalen's getting some good yardage. Rigor mortis with a great name there. But hey, shout out to you. Glad you're here, man. And dropping that Mike Harley. The thing about Mike Harley, too, you know, you probably wouldn't have said that a couple years ago. Or even last year, really. In terms of Mike scoring touchdowns. But we've been seeing Mike, you know, he had a 2 touchdown late in the year last year. And he's been doing it in practice, and he talked about his connection with Derek King is very good. And it wouldn't surprise me. Once again, I wouldn't have said that a couple years ago. Or even, like I said, even last year with how Mike's career has gone with reaching the end zone. But I do think he'll find the end zone. I think he's got that connection. I think he's settling in, can be a guy that scores. And there we go. There we go. I know you guys are excited. Derek King reaches the end zone. You know, Derek has the NCAA record with consecutive games with a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. He'll look to extend that mark tomorrow night. Off the top of my head, I think 14, 15 games, something like that. But he gets that rushing touchdown there, so that's no surprise. Oh, and the celebration. And the dab. We might have to hook that up for the thumbnail. Always like when they give a quick love to the camera there. Speaking of Miami Hurricanes and the camera, Manny Diaz announced they will have another turnover chain. It'll be a new one. This will be the 4th year of it. They'll be looking to unveil it tomorrow night as well. So there we go. So we get a look at Miami's defense once again. It was great to see Miami's offense go ahead and put together a drive. And just watching Tyler Johnson, UAB's quarterback in the opener. If you guys didn't get a chance to see it, I don't blame you. I understand it. They played Central Arkansas. Maybe you saw the box score. What stood out to me with Johnston is starts off good early. High completion percent early on. Off the top of my head, I had the numbers and I've been talking about it, but I think it was 10 for 13 for 99 yards and a touchdown. I think that's the number. But then he throws an ill-advised interception as part of a 5 for 10 stretch. Wasn't as sharp as he was early on. And then they bring in a quarterback, a freshman quarterback, Lucero. Announcer said Johnson was dealing with a shoulder injury, didn't have anything wrapped or anything like that. So you felt like, oh, it's a precaution. He'll be back out he'll be back out against Miami, no problem. They're just resting him, and you can understand it. But then they put Johnston back in the game late in the 4th quarter, which I found to be interesting. So was he really dealing with an injury? Did they not like how he was playing? Obviously, he's a guy that played last year, so you're figuring it wouldn't be a quick hook. But it's just something to watch for tomorrow. Once again, Lucero is the name of the freshman. There's a play action. Got to get pressure. Okay, got to get pressure here. That's tough. I'm definitely expecting Miami's defensive ends to be able to get pressure tomorrow night. Although the UAB offensive line is a nice size line. They're actually average. I added it up. They actually average 10 more pounds than Miami's offensive line, which I think was a little bit surprising. I don't think many people would assume that would be the case. But even with that, I do expect Roche and Phillips to be able to get to the quarterback, get pressures. Oh my. That's crazy. Okay, that might be an X factor for UAB. That's Rob Johnson. He's like their number 3 receiver behind Mitchell and Watkins. I think that's going to go ahead and count. I think he got both feet in right there. I know, Fierce. Shout out to you. Glad you're here. Man, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Okay, maybe it's not going to count. And you got to keep in mind it's NFL rules, so you got to get both feet in on the game here. I don't know. It looked like... I mean, he definitely got him in, unless they're going to call some crazy stuff where he didn't. I think it's going to count. I felt like Miami's going to go ahead and pull away. VLKF, shout out to you. Glad you stopped by. Thanks for checking in. So here we go. Man, I feel like my plan is I want to do this throughout the season, but if Miami doesn't pull this out, I feel like maybe you guys aren't going to keep checking in here. I know it's just a game, but you don't want to see Miami lose this one. Okay, De'Aaron King's got some work to do here. So here we go. Maybe Mark Pope will get a good return. The second kick returner on Miami's depth chart is Cameron Harris, which I find a little bit of a surprise. But I do like seeing running backs back there involved in the kick return. Okay, so here we go. Jalen Knighton having a good, solid day. The 10 yards of carry. Interesting formation. Nice play to Harley. So that was an interesting formation if you guys saw it. So they go shotgun, they go 3 receivers, 2 running backs. And UAB's head coach talked about Rhett Lashley. I wrote an article if you guys haven't seen it on the site there. He talked about facing Rhett, or just, his thoughts on Rhett Lashley. And one thing he said is you're going to see, a lot. He's expecting a lot of trick plays. And that's one thing that we've not talked about with the offense. What are you going to see with Rhett's offense? Maybe some different things. You talk about the tempo quite a bit. You talk about the combination with the running and passing ability of De'Aaron. But the trick plays will be interesting. We don't know what to expect until the game starts. But UAB is expecting that. So we'll see. And I wasn't trying to say that formation was tricky. It just reminded me of what Coach said there. So we'll go look like a pistol formation here. So here we go. We got 6 minutes left. You'd like to see Miami go ahead and pump in a touchdown here. Let the defense hold up. You saw Mike Harley get a catch. You'd like to see D. Wiggins maybe involved here. And obviously keep an eye on Brevin Jordan. Oh, there he's go. Oh, what in the world? I was about to get really excited there. Why did he not score? Look at this. I mean, it's a great catch, but what is he doing? I know it's just a game, but come on, 6? Rigger dropping in the nugget on a something you could see. I think you definitely think about AJ. What's going on? Shout out to you. Glad you're here. I felt like if you've been watching for a while, you're like, man, I got to comment on this. But yeah, the different options that Dier gives you because he has played. He can run the ball. He has played receiver as an offense. Just kind of thinking ahead of maybe ways you can use them. I think it's exciting. I think people should be excited about the offense because we've not talked about that with a quarterback at Miami. A dynamic playmaker like that. Anthony, left to right. So it's going to go John Campbell, Usman Traore, Corey Gaynor, DJ Scaife, and Jared Williams. It felt like those were the 5 that it was starting to shape up in fall camp. Kind of felt like the last couple weeks, week or two, we started to feel like it was going to be those guys. Although they did move Zion Nelson around left tackle, left guard, just to see if he can battle at either spot. But it just felt like those guys with Campbell in particular, they went ahead and just kind of won the job. They feel confident in Traore. VLK, as far as the simulations, yeah, as far as the tempo, it is frustrating, not going to lie to you. It's not something I'm able to set other than the play clock. I'm able to set the playbook. I kind of mix it up with the playbook, whether it's an air raid or a spread. You can kind of do different things there. I think that is, as far as the game goes, one thing that caught my mind with what Rhett Lashley labeled his offense. He was on a podcast this summer, and he kind of didn't know what to call his off, whether it was those two terms, things like that. But he brought up the term power spread, and I like that term because I felt like he used that term because he wants to run the ball, kind of going back to his roots at Auburn. So that's something to keep in mind. Even though they want to go up tempo, even though they want to spread the ball out and throw the ball, he definitely has the mindset to run the ball. AJ, what's crazy too with as far as a quarterback that can make plays, not just throwing the ball, but running it. Derek's got a chance to, I looked this up when Malik was a quarterback because Malik had some good rushing numbers, and I know that even the numbers he put up, other Miami quarterbacks had not done. So I think I dated back to 1956, something like that, one of those two numbers. I think it was 56 as far as stats that I was able to track. And based on what Derek's already done, he has a chance to break Miami's single-season rushing record for a quarterback. It's not a high number. It just kind of shows you that Miami over the years has just not had a quarterback with running ability. Anthony, that's a good question. He has, there's some connections with what Gus Malzahn, with those guys you mentioned, particularly with Mike Leach. There's some overlap there. Sonny Dykes is another guy. And I think another thing to keep in mind, not just Rhett Lashley and his experiences where he's been, and with Gus Malzahn is kind of an umbrella. But maybe a guy like Rob Likens, who's, like I said, Sonny Dykes was a guy that he's been around some spread offenses as well over the years. So it's not just that the offensive coordinator has that spread. As far as what Lincoln Riley does, I'd say it's more similar to Leach, but the only difference is they want to definitely run the ball. And I think maybe that's why, if I had to guess, maybe that's why he would kind of shy away a little bit from the air raid terminology because it is a little bit more pass heavy.
On offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
Yeah, Adrian, but the thing is, though, even though the athletic quarterback, the running quarterback, the thing is, there's been so many quarterbacks at Miami that have been successful doing what they do. And I think that's the biggest thing everybody wants anyways. It's just, regardless of if you can run it or not, just be productive and win games. And most of Miami quarterbacks have. And it's just been a little bit more glaring recently with some of the struggles that have come up. And one thing I want to make sure we mention, even though we talk so much about De'Eric, his running ability, being athletic, the guy can throw the football. Like, it's not like he's just an athlete running around back there making plays with his feet. He can throw the football, and if he didn't run the ball, he would still be an efficient and effective quarterback just passing the ball. He's got a good arm, makes good decisions, knows what he wants to do, spreads the ball around, and has been productive passing the ball. And obviously that's where the majority of his touchdowns have come from. They gotta brought this down here. Anthony, no update on Jake Garcia. I think you guys saw he finally got his high school season started there at Valdosta. I think a lot of the stuff with the recruiting is a little bit up in the air in terms of being able to visit. Okay, so they go I formation. They shift it here. 3rd and 6. Got to look for the tight end here for sure if you're Miami. Jalen Phillips! Jalen Phillips with a huge play. Maybe the play of the game. Certainly on defense. Are you guys checking in for overtime? Did you guys jump in and sign up for overtime? I'm willing to see how it's going to go here. Although you'd like Miami just to go ahead and pull this thing out here. Adrian, I'm with you too as well. I think seeing a dynamic quarterback, it's just a lot of fun to watch. Highly productive guys, being a big-time playmaker, making plays, winning games. Okay, so De'Eric King and the offense has 106 left, 3 timeouts. What do you think? Can they pull this thing off? Jose Borregales at kicker, you got to feel confident in him. I'm thinking back. I mean, there's a lot of plays in this game, but man, that Mark Pope play. Okay, maybe Pope will make up for it here on this kick return. Space Mountain, what's going on? Shout out to you. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for everybody who's here watching. And I always appreciate everybody jumping on the chat, contributing that way. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Plenty of time. Jerry Wayne the Cane is here. Now we're ready to get a touchdown, right? Jerry Wayne is here. Sports Shy is here. Awesome. Glad you're here. You always pop in. Thanks for stopping by. All 3 timeouts left. Absolutely. Okay. 70 yards to... Well, you don't only need a field goal, but... So they go bunch receivers. Get out of bounds. Come on. Okay, Jalen. Okay, everybody up to the line. Okay, Borregales is getting ready. Okay, nice little haircut there for Jose. They got to move here. I don't know why they didn't call timeout. What kind of play is that? Play action. Oh my goodness. All right, so 28 seconds at the 36. Not ideal.
It looks like the Packers have added an extra DB on third down. King operating from the gun.
What in the world?
He's taken
DJ Scape 51. What's going on? That was on third down. They're gonna have to punt the ball here. We're gonna see overtime. What if I didn't set it up and it just goes to a tie? You guys would hate that.
now comes the Cowboys.
Don Snaps, I hear you. I don't think it will. I'm not expecting it. It would be so deflating if this is what happens tomorrow night. That's a good punt.
A good kick, 49 yards. Just 3
And I know everybody
control of the football.
is excited
Here with very little
that the Hurricanes are back playing on the field and returning to action, the whole thing. But you guys want to see a win. You want to see Miami do well and perform well. Ray, I'm with you. I don't see this happening either. Mason, shout out to you. Glad you're here. Hopefully everything was well at football practice. What position are you playing, man?
range, not much. It's a tie game. You don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on
Mason, you jumped in right on at the right time. I feel like Miami can win now. Linebacker, there we go. Got that toughness right there.
And we've got free football. 4 quarters done, and we're dead even. We'll have overtime after this timeout. It's a little teaching moment here. Overtime.
Anthony, baseball team's going to be really good for sure. Space Mountain, thank you for subscribing. Definitely appreciate you.
first team to score wins, but no longer.
We reached the goal of getting 10,000 subscribers, but man, we got to keep that going. We got to get to 20 for sure.
Though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession.
Yeah, Neo, what's going on? Glad you're here. Yes, 30 minutes is my goal. 30 minutes, instant reaction, live stream after the game. I know it's a late game, 8 o'clock start. Games take forever. I got to do my writing, content, and that whole thing. But then I'm going to jump on whatever time it is and whoever is on. I just want to, if you don't watch it tomorrow night, maybe you guys want to watch it in the morning or whatever. I'm just going to go live afterwards for a quick 30 minutes. What in the world? What in the world was that? Oh my goodness. Dang. What in the world? Oh my goodness. And that that is, oh my gosh. What in the world? You guys are never going to watch a simulation like this again. I definitely appreciate everybody jumping on. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's the first one we've done. And I know there's going to be people popping in now. How in the world did that happen?
I'm not rooting for anyone, but boy, I love to see games finish that way.
So the passing yards, that was on the left there. Obviously giving up too much. I'd be surprised if that was the strength tomorrow night for UAB. I'm expecting their run game to be the one to watch for. So clearly a disappointment. I'll show you a couple stats before we get out of here. I don't expect, Derek. I just felt like the Miami offense wasn't on the field that much. Let's just look at Miami's. So 8 for 10. Norman, what's going on? Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Diehard fan for sure, man. Dropping in that donation. I appreciate it. Especially with the result did not go the right way. So 8 for 10. I mean, you definitely take that. I just think for some reason so 21 plays. 23 plays, I apologize. So they go 13 carries, 10 passes. Maybe we got to change the minutes as we do this again. Maybe we'll go 8-minute quarters. I did 7, so maybe 8 or 10. Maybe that would be better. Jalen with a solid day. Everybody ran the ball well. Mark Pope, led the team in receiving, but couldn't get that touchdown on that one. He was wide open. And then that play at the end, man. Jason, I bet you're not the only one. Man, this would be hard to handle. You guys, this happens tomorrow. It's all good though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Giving you guys a different look. And I enjoyed chatting with you guys just to talk about different things. I definitely want to do something tomorrow afternoon, a little bit of a pregame stream. And then obviously, like I said, go post-game. Make sure Neo is there. I'm awesome. I'm glad you're going to be there. Don Snaps, you're definitely right. Mark Pope at kick return. What in the world? That's crazy. And I'll just, real quick, I guess we'll look at UAB stats. Yeah, I don't think, the high completion percent, Tyler's not shown that. So they ran 28 plays. I think that's too little. I think we gotta stretch that out. We gotta play more minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe. It just felt like it was quick. Yeah, Watkins. Oh, so Brown, running back with 52. So there it is. So De'Eric with the touchdown. Miami's only touchdown to get a couple field goals. Appreciate everybody. Once again, we'll do this again. I'll tweak some things. I got to get those numbers right. But definitely looking forward to that second game against Louisville. And if you guys want to see a sneak peek, the Louisville game I did the first quarter, definitely check that out. If you guys are interested in this, maybe get a quick look at Louisville and everything they got there. So definitely appreciate everybody. Check out InsideTheU.com for all your coverage of the Hurricanes. I'm definitely going to have some stuff on the website there. You can follow me on Twitter if you're interested at InsideTheU. Just want to thank everybody for following along. This was great. Had a good time, even though the result was highly disappointing. Norman, shout out to you once again for that donation. Just definitely appreciate it. It's great seeing so many familiar names and faces. And we'll do this again tomorrow night after the game, but tomorrow afternoon do some pregame and really analyze the game a little bit more rather than touch and go stuff with this game. But definitely appreciate everybody and have a good night. Take care. Be safe. Be well.